สวัสดีครับ Welcome to Thailand. I am Patra Nimon, and I'm truly honored to serve you as your moderator today. It's a pleasure to have you all here at the 13th International Art and Design Symposium's Work in Progress. This year's theme, it's BANI World, invites the audience to explore their own relationship with the world that is so fragile, complex, and filled with uncertainty. To begin our journey, I'd like to invite our host to deliver the welcome speech. The first one will be Assistant Professor Dr. Kittikon Nop Udompant, Chairman of the Council of Art and Design, Deans of Thailand. Second, Mr. Ase Sukhayang, President of the Associations of Siamese Architects under Royal Patronage. Third, Mr. Napat Ratanasak, Vice President and Secretary of the Royal Photographic Society of Thailand. Fourth, Assistant Professor Akharapon Klitlu-Nonwong, President of Thaiga. And fifth, Mr. Nathawut Srimantara, Dean of Faculty of Digital Art, Rangsit University. And now it's a perfect moment to welcome them.
เรียนแขกผู้มีเกียรติวิทยากรผู้ทรงคุณวุฒินักวิชาการและผู้เข้าร่วมงานทุกท่านครับในนามของประธานสภาคณบดีศิลปะและการออกแบบแห่งประเทศไทยผมขอขอบคุณคณะดิจิทัลอาร์ตวิทยาลัยการออกแบบและคณะสถาปัตยกรรมมหาวิทยาลัยรังสิตที่มีความมุ่งมั่นในการเผยแพร่ความรู้ความคิดทางด้านศิลปะและการออกแบบให้ขยายออกสู่สาธารณชนในวงกว้างโดยการจัดนิทรรศการระดับนานาชาติเพื่อสร้างโอกาสในการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้และพัฒนาทักษะต่างๆที่มีความหลากหลายและมีคุณภาพผ่านงานนิทรรศการ International Arts and Design Symposium 2025 ซึ่งได้ดำเนินการอย่างต่อเนื่องและจัดขึ้นเป็นปีที่ 13 ในการจัดนิทรรศการครั้งนี้ได้รับการสนับสนุนจากสภาคณบดีศิลปะและการออกแบบแห่งประเทศไทยซึ่งมีวัตถุประสงค์ร่วมกันคือเพื่อเป็นเวทีในการนำเสนอผลงานสร้างสรรค์แก่เครือข่ายองค์กรต่างๆนักวิชาการและศิลปินและยังเป็นการแลกเปลี่ยนความรู้ในด้านศิลปะและการออกแบบซึ่งจะช่วยให้เกิดการพัฒนาผลงานศิลปะและวัฒนธรรมอย่างเป็นรูปธรรมการสร้างเครือข่ายศิลปะและวัฒนธรรมในระดับอุดมศึกษาระหว่างประเทศไทยกับนานาชาติการสืบสานมรดกทางวัฒนธรรมที่แข็งแกร่งและการสร้างโอกาสในความร่วมมือทางวิชาการในอนาคตด้วยวัตถุประสงค์ร่วมกันที่สำคัญเช่นนี้ผมมั่นใจว่างานนิทรรศการ International Arts and Design Symposium 2025 จะช่วยส่งเสริมและพัฒนาผลงานสร้างสรรค์กับเครือข่ายทางวิชาการต่างๆของผู้สร้างสรรค์ผลงานศิลปะได้อย่างยั่งยืนท้ายที่สุดนี้ผมหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่า งานนิทรรศการ International Arts and Design Symposium 2025 ในครั้งนี้จะสามารถบรรลุวัตถุประสงค์ได้ทั้งหมดและขอขอบคุณสมาชิกทุกท่านในคณะกรรมการการจัดงานที่มีส่วนร่วมในการจัดนิทรรศการครั้งนี้ด้วยนะครับขอบคุณครับ
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, scholars, designers, and artists from all around the world. I, Mr. Asej Yiyang, President of the Association of Chinese Architects under Royal Patronage, am deeply honored and immensely proud to have the opportunity to deliver this speech on the significant occasion of the 13th International Art and Design Symposium, the work in progress under the name BANI World, a concept introduced by an American futuristic, James Cassio, as a framework to understanding the characteristics of today's world, which is marked by structural fragility. The BANI framework consists of 4 elements: brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. BANI represents the numerous changes humanity encounters in the modern world, define the uncertainty and unpredictable outcome. The rapid change significantly impact people's lifestyle and daily life worldwide. In the future, architectural design must consider flexibility in terms of space utilization, structure, and material to adapt to unpredictable changing situations, to enable buildings to effectively meet the diverse needs of users while being environmentally friendly. Moreover, such design must allow for adaptation to accommodate unforeseen circumstances and respond efficiently to change. Changes continue to progress rapidly. Education system, learning method, and communication format will no longer remain static. We invite everyone to join the 13th International Art and Design Symposium, Work in Progress, BANI World, to explore and to understand the dynamic of this new era together. Thank you.
Dear honorable guests, distinguished speakers, academics, and fellow creatives, on behalf of the Royal Photographic Society of Thailand, it is a great honor to participate as a co-organizer of the 13th International Arts and Design Symposium, Work in Progress, BANI World. This symposium brings together diverse voices from around the world to explore creativity in the context of a rapidly changing world, what we now define as BANI, a brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. In such conditions, art and design play a vital role in helping us reflect, connect, and adapt. The theme Work in Progress beautifully captures the evolving nature of creative work, always in motion, always searching. It invites us to embrace experimentation, uncertainty, and collaboration across culture and disciplines. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers and all contributors. I am confident that this symposium will spark meaningful dialogue and foster new creative connection. Thank you.
Dear distinguished guests, respected colleagues, fellow creatives, and all participants, I am Assistant Professor Akarapon Krituenonwong, President of Thai Graphic Designers Association. On behalf of the Thai Graphic Designers Association, or TAIGA, I am truly honored to stand before you at the 13th International Arts and Design Symposium under the timely and thought-provoking theme, Work in Progress, BANI World. We are living in a time defined by complexity. The world we design for is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and often incomprehensible, a true BANI world. In this reality, traditional logic and linear thinking often fall short. The challenges we face, socially, environmentally, technologically, are not black and white, but layered, shifting, and filled with contradictions. As designers, we are no longer simply problem solvers. We are sense makers, connectors, and cultural interpreters. And in this age of uncertainty, I believe that we must learn not only to adapt, but to enjoy the messiness, to embrace complexity as a creative playground, not as a barrier. Great design today is not born out of control, but from curiosity, openness, and the willingness to engage with difficult questions. At Taiga, we believe that design is a living process, a continuous exploration of values, visions, and voices. And in a world that often demands instant solutions, we see deep value in slowing down, asking better questions, and working together in progress, not toward perfection, but toward possibility. Let this symposium be a space for dialogue, not just display, a space for connecting across cultures, disciplines, and generations. And most of all, it is a space that inspires all of us to remain open, experimental, and courageous, even in the most uncertain times. Thank you for being here, and I wish you all an enriching and meaningful experience ahead.
Distinguished guests, esteemed artists, designers, and architects, welcome to the 13th International Art and Design Symposium, Work in Progress, a space where creativity, technology, and vision converge. This year, theme BANI World challenge us to rethink our approach to digital art, design, and architecture in an era that is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. We are living in a time of rapid technological shifts, environmental crisis, and societal transformation. The tools and methods we once relied on are no longer enough. Instead of designing for stability, we must design for adaptability. Instead of seeking permanence, we must embrace fluidity. This symposium is not just a conference. It is a collaborative laboratory of ideas, experiments, and bold visions. Our work is not finished. It is always a work in progress, just like the world we shape. Let's embrace the uncertainty, push boundary, and design future that is not just functional, but transformative. Welcome to the 13th International Arts and Design Symposium, Work in Progress, BANI World, where creativity is evolving and the future is ours to shape. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. It's truly appreciated. Now we move on to the main highlight of today's symposiums, a creative talk with our keynote speakers. Yiyang, a visual artist whose work is shaped by diverse creative processes. Please join me in officially welcoming her to the stage.
Hi everyone, I'm Yiyang. I do handmade film, I animated elephants, and also I do digital puppetry. Well, I born in 2000 in Shanghai, China, and living there for almost 22 years. And currently I will stay in Estonia and studying Estonia Academy of Arts. And so before our presentation started, I warmly welcome you guys to scan this QR code so you can easily access into my website and check all my previous work and also the work what I'm currently doing in the future. So now calculating how many works I've done, I have done 4 short films. And today we'll focus on 2 animals. And one is a frog and another one is the elephant. And our main topic is like this, the imagery of idol under the liminal space. Actually, I have 2 working Mac. map. The first map is this ground map, and you can see all the keywords here, from play to animate to game and imagery, and also this doll to sound and this image to idol. And actually this is like a full step about how I generate and how I create my own work. First I play it and then animate it, and then I design a game, and in the end I present the imagery to the audience. And all my framework, all my dolls, and what I'm be the main character in my animation. The first time it will be the doll, and then there will be the puppets, and then they become the toy, and in the end they related to this like how to say, a human being state. And also for the framework, they first become the image, and then they arose back their anima, and I create this idol, and in the end transfer them into this idol words, which is I create combined with AI, doll, idiot, and idol. Yeah. Okay, now let's back into this film, Frozen Frog. It's a antique film for me now. It's produced in 2023. And it's 3 minutes and 21 seconds. And actually I made all the ceramic frog during the 106-day lockdown in Shanghai, China. And on January 29th in 2023, and it's actually the 8th day of the first lunar month, and we have this traditional to free captive animals to pray for good luck. And to shoot this footage, I place all the ceramic frog onto the water, but awaken once in hibernation. Okay, now let's dive into the film.
据说阿拉斯加木蛙能以冰雕的姿态度过严冬，它们身体的60%都会结冰，呼吸与心跳也随之停止，就像死了一样。不知什么时候，我的皮肤也变成了绿色。不过我和其他人不一样，我只有4根手指。 我花了3年时间寻找我丢失的手指，所以你知道我的手指在哪里吗？
Well, after we see this short film, I think people can get more understanding about how to animate it with the clay, with some ceramic and porcelain. Actually, the way how animated is quite different from Estonia and to China. For Estonia, I dig the clay itself in the sea coast into collecting it, and I purify them and I make a mold and pouring the clay liquid inside it to make puppet. But back to China, I use hammer to slap the clay into slight pieces, and I foldering them and sculpture them into the bunny and into the toy, into this giant kid's sculpture, what you see in the image. And so this is me. I was sculpting it, and you can see the head was whole empty. So it's like you only make the surface and only make the skin by the slight clay itself. So this is how does it come into this frog film. And I create this 2.5D sculpture. You see, it's not this very slight frame. It's pop up a little bit. And I was using this special technique with a tool of a bamboo knife, because it's bounciness and it has this dynamic in which also connected the clay and the glazing together into this frog shape. But all the 2D animation, they're frame by frame work, and because you can have this light box behind it, and so you can see what's happening before the previous frame. But for the claymation, it's kind of, you can't do it. It's not transparency. So I introduced a projector into the process of making it directly. I put the projector on top of my head and project the frame on the clay. And so I can see frame by frame very clearly. But it also doing a lot of mistakes and tests and figure out how does it works. And after you finish all the frame, I put them into the kiln, into the oven, and to fire them. But all of them are like independent work. So actually this 3 minutes short film consuming for almost 8 months to finish in production, and also the sound design. And let's back to the glaze itself. And you can see the bubbles inside. And what I do is I place this mistake in between. For example, if you have to make this perfect glazing surface, this glass like this porcelain surface, it actually needs 1200 degrees. But what I did is I accidentally made mistake for the temperature. I update it's like into 1220 degrees, like this 20 degrees difference really changed a lot. And in the same time, I shrink the time from 2 hours into 1 hour and 45 minutes. So because the liminal time and the limited space for the air to escape, and this is how the kind of air was captivated or captured inside the glaze itself. And it created this bubble liminal space in between each frame. And what I did, and I observing them and captured those mistakes, the glaze and the clay try to breathe, and during this special time period, and I animated them frame by frame. And also during the whole process, very important thing that I also go for residency, and I observe nature like the death of the frog itself, and I even entering the funeral of the local peoples, and observe the textures on the grounds, the broken ground, and also the broken leaves, and try to embrace and embody those techniques and those beautiful materials. And nature try to talk and communicate with me and into the animation. And about the glazing tests, actually the first time, and I was using this crafting or the caving ways, the printmaking ways, instead of the sculpture and pop-up ways to make this piece of frame. But how to say, the outcome is not what I want. And so I change it, and you can see the process of how to make it. And you also need to feed a lot of water to to each of slides of clay, so that the glaze will, the clay will wearing the glaze very well. Otherwise, it will have this, you can see this bluish and boundaries. It's not that perfect, but somehow it's also a style. Well, back to the main character of it. This frozen frog, this wooden frog, is actually come from Europe. It's not an Asian creature. And this wooden frog will frozen its heartbeat and frozen its breath during the winter time. So help it to save the energy, and also reflecting to my stage back to 2023 and in the pandemic period. And the world was in a very, intense situation, and people can't freely get out, and we can only stay in our own studio, in our own home. And how we facing the world, how we facing the difficulties of everything. And that's why I started to animate it like a monk and keep on working on all the stuff what I'm doing. And then the outcome is become the animals artwork and this piece of frog. And after the finished animation, I also started to do some exhibition work. So this is how I place each clay and each artwork into the white box, into the gallery context. I place them in this pond, and it's very interesting. In this white box, in this white cube, some mosquito accidentally come in and they lay eggs on the water surface. But the frog was frozen. It can't breathe. It can't escape. So as a human being, as an audience, what we can do? And it's a very interesting playground, which the artwork also links the reality and also the material itself into this context. And then I put some liquids, which is like the way how you killing the mosquitoes, and for the audience, and let them killing the mosquitoes, and all the mistakes happened in this gallery place. Well, later I go to Estonia and started my new journey in Eastern Land, and after the pandemic period. And very luckily in 2024, the government invite us to present my work in the snow sculpture. So we started to build up this giant snow sculpture in 100 tons of snow. Okay, now let's watch this short video to see what's the making of that.
Other blue.
Put the lighter over here.
我现在站在这个巨大的 cube 上，我们要把它给填平。这就是。 So as you can see, it's a lot of laboring, but very beautiful part is when you project the film on top of it, you see it's become a whole art pieces. And let's think about that. The clay is actually from the ground, but the snow is actually from the sky. And what's the beautiful part of this sculpture is actually this giant puppet is animated by itself without human being. Because the whole sculpture living for 4 months after it's fully melted and waking up by the summertime. This is how the material tried to communicate with me, and also how we can activate it, the frog, and also the animation in a sculpture way. Like, it's also one of my concepts. I try to make a sculpture and the movable sculpture in the animation context. But when I do animations, I try to make a sculpture in an unmoving way. So this is also about how you can be stable and how you can be flexible in the same time, but vice versa. I'm playing this game in between. Very interesting. Later on, we started to develop a AR game. So you can see how the frog transferred from a clay frog to a snow frog, and then finally it have its digital avatar. Because the whole thing happens from a stone sculpture, actually, in locals. It's a folk tales here. It says the frog was actually a protector in the eastern land, but now it was sleeping, and we have to awaken it by finding 1,000 people who can speak snake language and to awake this protector to protect the mainland. And in the same time, I found a very interesting character called Cracked. It's actually a tick living in Estonia. And what I do is I combine this tick, which was known as artificial intelligence, and together with the frog sculpture, and to create this artificial intelligence, this AR game. And I started to question this, and does the fiction become more real than reality if you see the digital avatar in this concrete world? So now we are going through the whole journey from the clay frog from the ground, and how the frog grew up bigger and bigger into a snow frog, and in the end it's fade away back to the sky. And now let's go into my second map, from the ground map and then lead to this sky map. And this sky map is also like the context how I'm developing now. It's including 3 different material contexts in the creator. The first is image with material, and the second is image without material, and then non-material image. And how we understand the relationship between them. Image with a material, think about the clay frog. It's actually like this. And if we take a picture of the snow sculpture, it's also the exist image with the concrete material. It's standing there. And what is image without material? It's actually the AI generated image. Let's say it's like half contest, like with a digital coding system, and it's also learning from the reality. So it don't have the concrete body living in nowadays in contemporary. And the non-liminal non-material image is actually the endogenous image in your mind. Very interesting when I get out from Shanghai and when I go to another country to continue my study, you started to create your own liminal space, kind of its own safety comfort zone during this diverse cultural exchange. So I started to do the body practice, like the traditional Chinese body practice. It's called Qigong and also Tai Chi. And I learned it from my grandpa. And through the whole breathing techniques, and then you can kind of relax yourself and open this mental space, and as an observer to see what's happening really inside your body, and how I communicate with this in-body experience and outcome, and link with the toy study, link with the doll study, link with the animation. Okay, now we're going to watch this short video about my grandpa's working process, and also where I learned from it. And if you see the left character, it's actually local Estonian people who's also doing this practice, but she combined the whole process into a into a creature which living in Estonia. And the whole map is actually under this meridian body map, and you can see how it goes through from one to another. And this is an antique photo from my dad's side, and like when he was young, he was practice this techniques and this embodied practice. And okay, now it goes to my side, it goes to my generation, our generation Z. And what I practice and embody this part is I do the motion capture myself, and I photo scanned a lot of my toy collection and also my sculpture, like with a clay sculpture, like the sculpture with a wood, and I digitalize them, become a digital avatar inside the game engine in Unity in Blender, and I play with them as a third practice. And in this animating elephant process, it actually have a very interesting words. the first word is imagery and the second word is image. If you go for Chinese, the elephant actually means image. And then the image is actually a human being stand beside the elephants. So nowadays, we as a human being, how we should acting, like in between the imagery and the image, in between the mental space and the concrete world, and how we playing in this liminal context. Because I feel like we kind of lost the respect for image because of all the AI generated. It makes life so easy. Like you just generated one image with one word. You don't need to put all the effort in the craft work. Like you never think about, okay, I made 100 image in 1 year, but with AI, maybe just 1 day, people just diagnose it. So I try my best to, to lead the process and also to do it myself, like animate like a monk and do work. But in the same time and communicate with the digital age, it's not only doing the craft work and handmade film frame by frame. It's also think about how we can actually combine AI, combine artificial intelligence, and in the same time with also those craft value, those stop motion in the same playground, and let the material itself start to talk and communicate with us. So this is how does it go to this animated elephant project, and the name for it is called Sun to Sun. And as a reburning animal, you're going to navigate a nesting door, a Russian door, and in a psychological adventure, it's like a rite of passage to in between image and imagery. And all the characters inside it are actually kind of an AI generated image, but half of them I collected in the reality, and I put them into myself and in this avatar, in this playground where I created. And I also designed a digital puppetry game. And maybe now we end it in this game and to see how it works. And with my personal practice, combining the digital avatar and this embodied practice with all the handmade film and all this liminal space context.
Hi, back again. Thank you so much for your insightful presentations. Suan, your approach to animations and the maturity is truly fascinating. And I'm sure the audience has been captivated by your creative process too. I think I'd like to move on to Q&A sessions. And we have prepared you some few questions further to explore your thought and your idea. And I'd like to
Sure.
start with the first questions right now. Okay, so
Yeah.
my first questions would be about you're working with clay, and then you use clay as a medium to your artwork. So what is the unique qualities that do you think clay brings to animations that maybe another materials maybe cannot do that?
hmm So I think the part for the clay is uncontrollable, and also it's a nature element from the world where we live in. And so when you play with the clay itself, you are actually observing the elements from the world itself, like how does it changing from the ground, like you collect the clay in the nature side and also reshaping them and how to activate it itself and to transferring this animation nature into the film or all the art form. So I think that's clay's personality, and also how does this nature material its role inside the whole world itself. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. The accidental that because it cannot be perfect when you use it. You mean that too,
Yes.
right? It sometimes have.
It's really hard. You can never, yes, you can never control the world and you can never manipulate something. But what we can do is kind of thinking what we can activate ourselves and also from the material self, and also think about how human beings roles like inside the world with our image creation and link with our imagery. Hmm.
Thank you, thank you. Move into your second questions.
Yeah.
The craftsmanship and your background. We would like to know, like your animation has a very handcrafted and tactile quality. What is your background in art and design, and how has it influenced your approach to animation?
hmm So before that, I have my bachelor in interactive design, but I don't know why I have to interactive, because somehow you all use this virtual reality, these fancy techniques. But if you really didn't know how does it works and you really don't have your words structure, you actually make all those technique into a decoration. So I start to step back and kind of do this pull regress action to really think about, okay, what I'm going to do and what I'm trying to figure out and communicate with people. And later I figure out this digital world, and also they play the same game rules as a clay, as a glass, as all the material in the world. But the hard point is how does the human being to interactive and to recognize them as a material instead of a high technology things, and treats rethinking about the animism inside the digital avatar or the digital world. It's actually a very like a new way to investigate or participate with new technology. But now I kind of understand what I'm doing, so that's why I move on to both try the stop motions, handmade film, but in the same time, the embodies digital puppetry and the game engine reality thing. Yes.
It's even more truly fascinating when we knew that your background was come from the interactive design
Mm-hmm.
part and stuff, and you explore and having questions through that until you move and interested in introducing a new materials and mediums into your art process. It's very interesting. And when did you first become interested in animations? Like, okay, now we knew about the materials part, the interactive part, and about the storytelling part about animations, and what was it about this medium that captivated you?
Mm-hmm. Animation is very, I think 5 years before, and I was entering the animation festivals, and I met a very special animation director from Estonia, and that's also the reason why I come here. You can't really guess what will happen in the next seconds, kind of in the Estonia film context. So I come to this country and try to figure out how do they design the game rules in their animation creating? And that is like one from the cultural part. And if you just call back our whole memory, for example, the Teletubby, this kids animation, we all watch animation since we are very small kids. So I'm very fascinated by the childish things and also these simple techniques, how to move in an interesting way, these very simple thoughts, because we move our body every day, but we actually don't know how to fly and how to do something else instead of a human being, like the normal, how to say, the normal recognize of our world's basic rules. So I try to get into this animation world and to see how I can design the game rules by myself and play with all the materials and digital technologies. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And another thing that we're curious is about, like when you say you're having a conversation with the materials, like before you're using them, like you observe them, you talk to them, or you have communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
Could you a little elaborate it on these processes of how you communicate and what did you listen or how did it respond and working with materials?
Mhm. Actually, it's just make a lot of mistakes, like a bunch of mistakes. And like if you are independent animators, like a handcraft animators, we spent years to produce one short films. For example, the Frog one. Actually, if you calculate how does the animation works, it's only 30 seconds. But this 30 seconds takes 8 months to generate it. It's because it's have so many hidden layers about how I do the test, do the glazing things, do the chemistry, and you dig the clay itself, and you try different material, different tools to how to activate it, how to start the conversation, and how to get the angle inside it. So it's like the time is the main key to communicate with the material. And also you have to really understand it, what does the material want to transfer in the information to your side. So you cannot only focus on your own brain and all your own side. You have to really focus on what they think. It's really hard to imagine. It's only like the practice by ourselves, by laboring, but also gaming and playing, like the same as a digital world. And you really need to get inside the Unity, get inside the code, and get inside interactive a lot with AI, and then you kind of know their personalities. And then for the artist point, when we don't do like to make it very fancy and very beautiful, we actually try to arouse their idiot part and let them make mistake and design a playground for the material and for all the things and let the magic happen. So I think this is what an artist and also an animator animates the whole world. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. It's beautiful to hear that, to make a mistake. It's been
Yeah.
like equally to make a conversation and make a relationship with the thing you do. So it's really interesting. Thank you so much. Well, we also have a few questions, if you wouldn't mind. We would like to know about your keywords that you mentioned about the liminal space, which has inspired you when you had a very lockdown time, sort of like we had a pandemic times. Your work often, exists in a space that we feel in between, neither fully defined or completely abstract, sort of that. And how do you interpret liminal space in your animations, and why do they interested you?
Mm-hmm. So basically, liminal space also provides you this playground. And actually, it's also an open place in between the image and the imagery. Like I mentioned before, the elephants is represent the imagery, and the xiang, the imagery represent the human being stands beside the elephant. So what we can really think about ourselves in this digital age and how we can respect the creation of the image in this liminal space. And it's like a threshold. It's not going, we are not targeting for getting achievements into the end, but we are not in the beginning. We are always having this marathon around things, the whole playground we are designing for. So it's like a process. And in this process, you can design whatever you want and to introduce whatever you want inside it and to open a bigger place, a bigger context, and to interact with people. Yeah.
Thank you. That was insightful. And that was the last questions that we have. So I'd like to say, thank you. Big thanks to you again for sharing your experience and your passionate with the moving image with us. Your work was like really inspiring, and for the whole sessions that we've been with you. I would like to also extend my gratitude to my audiences, the one who are hearing these presentations, and also everybody behind the scenes, the team and people who helped gathering, making this happen. So that's conclude our keynote session soon. So pleased to know you, and I hope you continue, making and creating a lot of magical and unplaying games and stuff in the future. Thank you everybody. So I think our sessions end now, and I'd like to say that we'll see you again next year, everyone. Okay, so we had to say goodbye for now, and thank you so much. สวัสดีครับ ขอบคุณครับ
And also thank you so much. Nice to see you, everyone. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Ciao. Thank you. Well, today we witnessed the power of creativity, the possibility of new forms in contemporary art, and a big thanks to Yiyang for the inspiring creative talk sessions. Our journey of inspiration has come to an end, and I believe all of you are leaving with fresh ideas and motivations to create. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to invite everyone to share your thought through the QR code that will appear at the end of the video. Your feedback will mean a lot to us. Well, then see you in the next International Art and Design Symposiums. Thank you all for joining us today. สวัสดีครับ